Farm Bureau. Jay Powell joins us right now. He is the analyst on the radio alongside Jim Ellis for Mississippi State Baseball. I said this to you last time. I'll say it again. You guys have done phenomenal work in Omaha. It's really been fun to listen to. So keep it up, but got to get a win tonight.
Yeah, we got to get one tonight. We got to keep playing. Got to find a way to get to tomorrow. So yeah, we definitely need one tonight.
I can't help but ask, Jay, last time we talked, you were bored and you were looking for something to do. Did you find a place to fish in and around Omaha?
No, actually, Matt White and I were talking about that. There's a lake right here by the stadiums, or a river. So, we're like, there's got to be something out there. But, yeah, we hadn't done much. A lot of working out, a lot of eating, a lot of free time. Well,
you'll be in great shape when you get home and get ready to head off to the beach for vacation. All right, so let's start with last night. What was your takeaway?
Really good pitcher from Vanderbilt. I've known Jack Leiter's dad for a long time, played with him, so I kind of knew what we were getting. And that was going to be a tough matchup, man. I don't care if it's the first game of the championship series or if it's game 27 or game 10 in a conference. That's when you have to face Jack Leiter. And it's just going to be tough. You're going to have to keep them probably to 3 runs or less to have a chance to win it. Christian has been he struggled lately, and we kind of think everybody knew that. And really, honestly, didn't know what to expect, and he just couldn't find it. It was reminiscent of his other start, I guess against Virginia. He just couldn't find it, and the bullpen threw great after that. But unfortunately, at that point, 7 runs facing Jack Leiter is going to be really tough.
Jay, what happens? There's no question that Christian McLeod is a talented pitcher. We've seen it. We've seen the results on the field. But mentally, it feels like, I don't know if it's mechanically or mentally or what's going on. What is that feeling as a pitcher? Because I think anybody that has pitched for an extended period of time has had a stretch where they've gone through that, where they just can't find it. So what do you do?
Well, I think a little bit of his is mechanical, but obviously I think most of it's mental, and that's why these pitching coaches, especially in the major leagues. Most of your pitching coaches in the major leagues, they're dealing with stuff like that. Most of the time it's not mechanical. It's just you've got to keep them in the right frame of mind. And when with Christian, he just needs something good to happen. And that's what I told Jim. I said, just even if it's 3 line outs, even if they hit 3 balls right to the wall, just put up a 0, and if he can ever kind of get his confidence back going, because it's a confidence thing right now. You start pressing, you start overthrowing, you start missing high, you start rushing your mechanics, your arm drags, and it just snowballs and turns into a train wreck. And that's the hardest part of pitching, man. You gotta be able to kind of fight off those demons, and you got to be able to make adjustments pitch to pitch. And right now, he's having a hard time with that.
I think we're all assuming Houston Harding. I've not seen that officially tonight. Is that your assumption as well?
Yes, that's probably a pretty good assumption.
Okay. If indeed it is Houston Harding on the mound, what do you expect to see from him?
Well, one thing about Houston, man, he'll compete his tail off, and he normally throws strikes. I think, honestly, the bullpen's in pretty good shape. I think they got about everybody available. I think they did a pretty good job last night of managing that. So if you can get into the 4th with Houston Harding, or even into the 5th, if you could pitch into the 5th with a chance, and I'm not saying zeros, but say if it's 3-2 Vanderbilt, or if it's 3-2 Mississippi State, where it's a winnable game, I think you're in good shape, because this bullpen's been really good the last, really 2-3 weeks. So if they can get to that point with them, I think they're fine. They just can't. They can't play catch up with this group, because Vanderbilt's pitching. It's one of the games where you can scratch and score some runs, but you're not going to be able to put up big crooked numbers against this Vanderbilt pitching staff.
Yeah, Jay, it's weird a little bit. Like, you want to plan for being there for 2 more days, because that means you got a chance to win it all. Right. But if you don't win tonight, then there is no tomorrow. And so right. with that, what do you think the point in the game is where you say, hey, Landon Sims, go finish this for me?
Well, that's a good question. That's why these guys make money they do. I think you got to, at some point, obviously, you don't want to leave him set in the bullpen. I think if you get it to striking distance from the 7th inning on, he's the guy. I really do. And you just worry about tomorrow when you you get there. But, I think it's got to be a point where, if it's, I don't know if he's one of those guys you want to run out there. You'll see teams use their closer in the fourth. I just don't know if that's the type of guy Landon is. I'm not saying he can't do it, but I think most people would feel more comfortable, let's get into at least the six before we can run through him. Because if he goes and throws, you still got some other guys that could finish it. But I don't know. It's a lot of games are won and lost in the fourth and fifth. But I feel like with him, he's looking at probably sixth inning on.
Let's just play it out. Let's say Mississippi State gets through the seventh inning with a one-run lead, and you can hand the ball to Landon Sims and say, go get me the last 6 outs of the game. Yep. We know what kind of a competitor he is. If he does that, and let's just say it's a high leverage situation, could he then come back and get you 3 outs to finish it off to try and win a national championship tomorrow night?
I don't think there's any doubt he could and he would. I think at that point it's pretty much, other than maybe 1 or 2 guys, it's all hands on deck. And it's just me saying this. I mean, even if you can get Lamar, you might even have Bednar back for a couple innings. You might even have some, you know what I'm saying? I mean, so there may be some even, we might cycle back into Will for at least maybe 2 or 3. But yeah, I mean, I think if he can even if he goes 3, and he doesn't just throw it a certain amount of pitches, he could probably come back and get you an inning. Now, is that something you do all the time? Absolutely not. But, they've done a pretty good job of managing his workload. And I think that would be something he probably would be capable of doing.
All right, you said with Will Bednar, maybe he could go get you a couple of innings. So I'm throwing your words back at you. You also said this is why these guys get paid big, big money.
Right.
We know what kind of a competitor Will Bednar is. We know what he's capable of doing. And I think we know that if you say, hey, do you want the ball? We're playing for a national championship. He says, give it to me. So what then is Chris Lemonis's responsibility for a guy that 2 weeks from now is going to be a millionaire, assuming he's got a healthy arm?
Right. Well, you're exactly right. I mean, that's what, you've got to weigh those options. And I think just looking at the big picture, and I'm just let's take all that for now out of the situation. Guys can come back on 3 days. That's not unheard of. It's not unheard of. We see it all the time in the big leagues. Is it good? Absolutely not. Is it something you want to do all the time? No. But they can come back on 3 days rest. If it was me in his spot, I would probably, the kid's going to say, I'm good. I'm ready to go. I think you go by, as long, you kind of watch him throw. And if he's effective, he's not laboring, then, you can probably get 50 pitches, 60 pitches out of him. I don't see that as being one of those deals that's not being fair to the kid. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
If that was 2 days, a whole different story. But 3 days is normally, most big league guys are on 5 days pitching, 4 days of rest, you pitch. So that second or third day is normally your bullpen day anyway. So if you've got, that would be your 4th day. So it'd be 3-4 days of rest. So from a physical standpoint, I think he'd be fine to do it. Now, he may say, man, that last start taxed me. I'm sore. And that might change that. But from a standpoint of physically of what my experience is, I think 3 days would be enough for him to at least give you maybe a couple innings.
It's just, I can't help but think about a guy like Nolan Ryan or the way Major League Baseball used to be with guys, when you were talking about a 4-man rotation and they were throwing every 5 days and giving you 250 innings over the course of a season. It's just different now.
Ain't no doubt, man. And I tell you what else is different. I saw Danny Graves the other day in the lobby, and he and I were talking about this. Used to, we were trained and geared to throw multiple days in a row, meaning, I would throw sometimes 3 days in a row, and after that third day, you for sure would have a couple of days off. But throwing 2 out of 3 days was like, heck yeah, I'm good. That's changed, though, where and it's not just state, it's all across baseball. Yeah. Guys don't really train their pitchers anymore to throw these back-to-back days. Very rarely, really, do you see those guys a lot going back-to-back. So the whole game's changed as far as that goes.
It's an interesting thing. There's part of me that wonders if you went back to training the right way, if you'd be able to do it more and do it better, or if we have just gotten altogether past that. But I don't know that we can solve that issue today, Jay.
No, probably not. I saw Trevor Bauer talking about spin rate and all that, and a lot of that's interesting. But, man, it comes back to if you can locate your fastball and if you can change speeds in the strike zone with a secondary pitch, you can get guys out. I don't care what league, what level. And sometimes we make it too complicated.
Yep. We will be listening tonight, Jay. We'll see if Mississippi State can extend the season one more day to try and play for a national title. Thanks so much for your time.
Absolutely, Rich. Appreciate it.